when he was in the forest. He didn't die after the war. When he was in the forest, he married an Apsara. See the Apsara girl once again, because in those days, this Apsara, one lady. And then the child was born, and the child was shown to him when it was so shown to him. The child was put on a bed of twigs. Twig means palava. And then on seeing the child on the bed of twigs, he said palava. That is how the first name Pallava came up. And Satyahis have come to Tamil Nadu also. Why I am saying is, this is Triplicate in Parthasarathi temple, in Triplicate in Chennai. And here Venkatakrishnan, this is Krishna, Krishna's wife Rukmani, Krishna's brother Balrama. But who are these three? There you are finding this priest king. But this priest king is not Vedic. Why? Why? Because look at his moustache. Actually, he has no moustache. Namaste.
Namaste, Jayasree ma'am. Welcome to our channel. So I'm not taking too much of your time. We are already past the 11 o'clock mark. I'll hand over to Vidya ji for the introduction. Vidya ji.
Namaste, Jayasree ma'am. Good morning.
Namaste.
Yeah, happy to see you. Namaste and a very warm welcome to everyone here. It's my privilege today to introduce our main speaker for the day, Dr. Jayasree Saranathan. Dr. Jayasree, who hails from Chennai, has several titles to her credit. She's a researcher, an author, as well as a writer in several mainstream print journals and magazines, both in Tamil and English, right from 1990. After graduating in history and economics from Madras University, as well as doing her postgraduate diploma in business administration, Jayasree ji was drawn back to astrology, which was a subject introduced to her in her teens by her maternal grandfather. So she went on to do her studies on astrology initially from Madurai Kamraj University and then MA and PhD from Poti Sri Ramalu Telugu University in Hyderabad. Epigraphy was another subject in which she did a certificate course from the Reach Foundation. Jayasree ji's deep interest in Indology, Hindu epics, Tamil Sangam literature, prehistory, astrometeorology, etc., led her to ably connect the missing dots in ancient texts as well as its correct interpretation. And she has done extensive research and written several articles in depth on the same. Jayasree ji has authored quite a few books, one of the earliest being Oral Cancer, Astrological Prediction and Remedies, which was published in July 2021. This interesting book is one of a kind, serving as a guide in medical astrology, not only for astrologers and astrology enthusiasts, but also for any layman. It's based on the detection of oral cancer through the interpretation of one's horoscope, as well as the techniques of predicting different types of cancer, diseases of the mouth and the face, speech disorders, cleft palate, etc. It also includes remedial measures based on astrology. Her fourth book was the Mahabharata 3136 BCE, Validation of the Traditional Date, which was published in November 2021. The 18 chapters of this book covers several aspects that include authentication of the year of the Mahabharata war, the beginning of Kali Yuga after the departure of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, tackling issues in dating with the use of astronomy simulators, inputs based on nimittas of terrestrial, atmospheric, and celestial observations, discovery of a cosmic impact, uncovering of the location of Sri Krishna's Dwarka, etc. In May 2022, Jayasree ji published the English version of the Ramanuja Itihasa, decoding the identity of Krimikantha Chola and the Muslim invader at Melukote, while the Tamil edition was published in April 2023. This book is based on resolving the two historical mysteries of Sri Ramanuja's life that has far-reaching implications for our understanding of the history of the medieval Cholas, as well as the unrecorded earliest incursion of Islamic iconoclasts into the south of Bharat in the 11th century CE after the death of Muhammad of Ghazni. When was the first Vedic Homa done? Was another book published in August 2022 by Jayasree ji. This establishes 10,000 BCE as the date of the first Vedic Homa that heralds the start of the Vedic culture. Based on narration lying undeciphered from the Mahabharata and Tamil Sangam literature, it allegorically describes that the first Homa, which was done by Sri Skanda, popularly known as Tamil Kadavul, was while performing the marriage of Swaha with Agni, as well as the redesign of the zodiac by Sri Skanda to include the star Kritika to make up for the exclusion of Abhijit. Another interesting read by Jayasree ji is Who Killed Aditya Karikala? The Historical Facts, which was published in English in September 2023, while the Tamil edition was published 2 months earlier. This book was brought out to point out the variations as well as place facts on the table with respect to the famous story of Ponniyin Selvan, written by the well-known writer Kalki, where the story differs in many places from the real history of the characters featured in it. One of her latest books to be published in February 2024 is The Date of Adi Shankara 148 BCE, which is all about finding out the birth date of Sri Adi Shankara, as well as to settle disputed versions on King Purnavarman and a place called Shrugna, mentioned by Sri Adi Shankara in his commentary. Of her earlier books, a couple of them included critiquing the controversial research paper on Sri Andal by Mr. Vairamuthu, the lyricist, as well as debunking the epoch of Arundhati, which was proposed by Sri Nilesh Oak. Dr. Jayashree's upcoming book is about establishing the date of Ramayana and explaining how the loss of a tithi during the Mahabharata is reflected in our inability to align the birth tithi of Sri Rama with his birth star in the month of Mesha. This book will also be looking into matters such as the birth of Sri Rama in the Treta Yuga, the identity of the Vanaras, and identification of the abode of Ravana in Sri Lanka. Jayasree ji, Dr. Jayasree Saranathan, today it is indeed an honor for us to have you on our platform of Satyameva Jayate. Thank you so much for joining us. And if I had cut short any of this, I would have been doing injustice to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Vidya ji and Ravishankar ji. Actually, Vidya ji has given, she has done my agent, publicity agent work, I should say, for all the books. But it is a very fantastic introduction that you have given to almost all of my main books, which I'm really glad, I'm very happy. I'm indebted to you for giving that publicity now, coming to what happened to the descendants, the survivors. So it was somewhere outside there. And the description says they were going there. He was evacuating them through only plain lands. They can't go, be all old people. And they were all carrying their carriages. All so much of wealth they had. So, see, actually, the wealth is such that, why Gandhari gave the curse to Krishna that the Vrishnis will be destroyed after 35 years. Krishna, what happened? He was very clever. He didn't side with any particular side, any particular warring side. He said on this side and on that side also. So either Pandavas or Kauravas, one of them will lose. The other one will be their winner. But whomever wins, Krishna's clan will not get affected. Because overall they have the good relationship or support to both the sides. Isn't it cunning? Definitely. So, okay, leave alone Krishna as a divinity. Krishna understands that. When Gandhari, she said exactly that. You didn't save us. You could have stopped this war. You didn't stop the war because you wanted to flourish. So can you survive with all this, with so much blood in your hand? Krishna agreed. He just put his head down. He agreed. Yes, what he did, but it's all destiny. Why he did it? Because that is how destiny should work. And at the last moment, when the moment came, he saw the warnings, 4 warnings, the planetary combinations all coming together. He understood that Gandhari's curse is going to happen now. And that is how things happen. So the old and meek, they had to be taken back. So they were taking the probable route I am giving based on Mahabharata description. Say from water, that is that island region, they entered the southern part of Gujarat. From there on the shore area only, they have moved. And then they have just safe areas, like they avoided mountains and all that. So this is how they would have gone. And after that, from there, like I'm showing you again, just showing straight away, but actually they would have taken a circumstitious route. And then they have gone to this Indus. But in Indus region, they didn't stay. They went to the river of five rivers, the region of 5 rivers, or the Punjab region or Sutlej region. Here, or even before this, on the way, Rukmini, she self-immolated. She couldn't bear. She self-immolated herself. Many women died on the pyre. But Satyabhama survived. She didn't die. And then when they all went there, when they reached this land of 5 rivers, the Mlechas from the west, they just attacked. Some thieves attacked, taken the royal women, children. Now you will know how the idea of this Aryanism, like, or even the Vedic thing, idea, symbols are found in Mesopotamia or in other regions, because they all have gone over there. The Darius, the Aryan of the Aryan, who knows? One of his ancestors was from this clan itself. So at that time, Arjuna didn't have the power to control them. He used to say that he was telling, when as long as Krishna was with him, he was able to fight. But once Krishna was not there, he didn't have the strength to fight. Then he said it is safer to return. Then in Kurukshetra, he settled somebody. And then he came through the Saraswati region, where today Saraswati is not there everywhere. But at that time, only in few places Saraswati was missing. But most of the regions of Saraswati were still flowing, at least in a very less way, that is, less water was moving. So he settled, particularly the Satyaki clan. The Satyakis, and he said that is the Satyaki was dead, but his family, his relatives, they were settled on the region of Saraswati river. Then there is another place I am showing. This is Meghar and Naushad. In Meghar region, he settled the Kritavarma clan, because he must have thought, since Kritavarma and Satyaki only started the fight, it's better to segregate them. So on this side in Saraswati, Satyaki, and why I chose Mehergar, in Mahabharata it is said they were settled in Matrikavata. Matrikavata, there are two places in Matrikavata. Earlier also in Mahabharata, it is told in UP region. There is one Meghar in UP. And then here also there is one Meghar. Probably from Magar, my mother's place. Maybe Matrikavat would have become the word Meghar in later periods. So today it is Balochistan. It is known as Kachi plain. Kachi means in between. So that is in between the Mlecha land and Aryavarta. And Kachi you have in Kanjipuram, Kutch. And then Kutch, Gulf of Kutch, which is in between is Kutch. And in Kachativi in Lanka also. So wherever, that word, why I just mentioned this is linguistically, lot of connections or similarity right from that time. Tamil and other languages are Sanskrit right from that time. So in Kachi plain, it was he was settled. That is Kritavarma's clan. So what about this area, the Indus area? The entire Indus area was occupied by Jayadratha clan. Jayadratha was the son-in-law of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra's only daughter, Duschala, was married to Jayadratha. And Jayadratha, what a villain he was as far as Pandavas are concerned. But he occupied the entire Indus region, right from the mouth of Indus up to Bactria, Afghanistan and Bactria. 20 countries were there. All of them were friendly with him, or he was a leader for all of them, either through matrimonial connections and so many connections he occupied. What happened was, in this region, they did not go Pandavas, because even after the war, Ashwamedha Yaga was done. And Arjuna just went to these regions to fight. When he came to the Sindhu country, Jayadratha's army was fighting with him tooth and nail, because they wanted to take revenge on Arjuna and Pandavas for the death of Jayadratha. But even Arjuna also suffered a lot of losses. At that time, Duschala, she was there. Her son, that is only son Surata, he died on coming to know that Arjuna is coming to occupy their country. And then Surata has a small little son born after the war was over. Duschala had carried that child and then came to Arjuna on the war field. Look, this is your nephew. Like how Parikshit was born after the war. This is the only child in our family born out of the war. Please allow us to continue our lineage. Don't fight with us. For the sake of your nephew, you have to leave us, he said. And immediately Arjuna backed out he gave a very long lecture then how he felt very bad to fight with the brothers, like sisters and all that. And then he went back. But we don't know whether they agreed to give some tributes. Normally in Ashwadeta Yajna, either you occupy the country, bring the country under your control, or the country will agree to be a subsidiary to you and pay you some tributes every year. Whether they agree to pay tribute or not, we don't know. But one thing we can say, they agreed to be a subsidiary to the Hastinapur kingdom because they did not engage in any fighting activity. They all became traders. That is how Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. The Mohenjo-daro and Harappa are only in the Jayadratha region. And only these regions have maximum number of seals showing unicorn or Varaha symbol. And you know one thing, Jayadratha's insignia, that is his emblem, is Varaha. So unless that king, that particular symbol or emblem belongs to that particular kingdom, they cannot use it. They are using it means it belongs to them. So the entire region of Indus civilization that you are seeing, where you are seeing this Varaha symbol, it means it all belonged to Jayadratha clan. They have become Vaishyas after the war. That is the understanding. And in the we are now going to talk about the Saraswati region, because only in the Saraswati region we have got maximum number of Harappan settlements. And in this settlement only you find a lot of Vedic culture, dairy products, agriculture products. See the Gujarat, this place you can see, for Kottada Badli. There are a lot of places having the name Kottada. But in Tamil we know Kottada, Kottaha, Kottada, Kottadi, we say. That is where horses are being kept. So this Kottada Badli, there archaeologically it has been found out that 4,000 years it was the milk capital of the entire Harappan. All the Vedic altars, Dholavira, all these places are there where Satyaki was settled. And then there are laddus are also found. This is fossilized laddus found in Rajasthan area, all made up of some dal or some agricultural product only. So these are what we are now using, the kind of lifestyle. They also use the same one, and also mostly to do with, what shall I say? They were all cattle breeders. The cattle breeder life, agricultural life only you will find. Coming to Mehagar, where Kritavarma settled. And to give an example of how the life was, I am showing this terracotta picture, something like a boat was found out, where there was a lady sitting there and men and women sitting in front of her. And then if you're, this one has been extensively researched. One Mr. Vidale had researched and then he has written about it. This lady was seated inside and he is showing that she has 5 locks of hair. And it's when I read that research paper, I was just astounded. 5 locks of hair only Apsaras will have. There is a version in Rig Veda. And also there is a discussion between Ashtavakra. You have heard about sage Ashtavakra, who had a debate with one person called Vandin in Mithila, in King Janaka's capital. In that debate, they will be talking about how the debate, one will first, they will ask from 1. What is 1? That is Brahma is 1, he will say. Then next one, he has to say 2. What are the 2 things? 2 eyes. And then another 2 he has to say. Then he will say for 3, 4, 5, 6. Until 13, they will go. If you are not able to say what are the 13 things, you have to say 13. If you can't say, then you are lost. So in that, when the 5 number comes, he says 5 locks of hair of Apsara as told in Vedas. Then when I searched where in Vedas it is told in Rig Veda. So 5 locks of hair, Apsara, we have heard about Apsaras, Gandharvas. We say some mythical beings. No, Apsara means the one, Saras, Apasaras, that is near water. There'll always be, that is why this is a boat structure here. They like to make merry near waterways, and then they'll become, connected with, joined with the Gandharvas, who will be playing musical instruments, all easy life. And this Apsara story, many stories, even in Vishwamitra's life, on Apsara, Menaka will come, all these Apsaras, they'll have just easy life. they will become pregnant, get a child, and then get away. They don't take any responsibilities as a mother. But in Matrikavat, where you are finding this, you find lot of images, figurines like this, where the mother will be carrying a child. So probably there came a time around Mahabharata when the Apsaras have stopped being a sort of the just Apsaras, but becoming mothers, accepting motherhood, being mothers, and they were mostly localized in that is that that kind of lifestyle might have started in Mehergarh, in Matrikavata. That is why that place also came to be known as Matrikavata. We don't know that, but several such kind of figurines are found out. And another important news is only after that period of Mahabharata, we never come across Apsaras in any story. Only until then we talk about Apsaras, we have heard about Apsaras. So this could have been the case of Apsaras or other girls taking some responsibility as mothers. And that started there. That is why the place was known as Matrikavata. So this is about Kritavarma's place. And another information about it is there is a genetic connection between the people that is in Matrikavata in Mehergarh with Gujarat. Later day, they have once again come back. Some people, the mixture must have been there. Mixing must have been there. Anyway, he came from here. So that is why Balochistan is very much part of our Indic culture. And then only from Gujarat only people have gone over there and settled. And then in Mohenjo-daro region, that is in the region where I showed Jayadrada's region, there you are finding this priest king. But this priest king is not Vedic. Why? Why? Because look at his moustache. Actually, he has no moustache. It's clean shaven upper lip. He has a clean shaven upper lip. Only the beard is there for him. But our Indic scholars are all telling, oh, he is a Vedic priest. Wow. Another issue I tell you. In Vedic system, we have this Karna Veda. That means having that earring. Definitely that ear boring will be there for even sages. You can see the sages, everybody having very heavy kundala and their ears, just hanging. Nothing is seen. So definitely he's not Vedic. And there is nothing extraordinary about it, because think about the wartime. While Karna was, in the field, his chariot was driven by Shalya. Shalya came from Vahika. Vahika was in the region of Sindhu country only, beyond the Sindhu country, there only. That is near Bactria or even near Afghanistan or beyond Afghanistan could have been. But people are just putting very much inside, but cannot be. Because Karna keeps saying, he keeps irritating. Shalya kept irritating Karna, and Karna retorted. He said, in your country, you are not following any Vedic life. You are all sort of gone case. So much he used to say. So definitely in this region, people were not Vedic. But the probability was that once they were Vedic, but in course of time, they left out. So some remnant would have been there. Some the older memories would have just they maintained, but they changed a lot. So this priest king, what people are saying, Indologists are saying as an evidence for Vedic, in Sindhu region, in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, this is in Mohenjo-daro. Definitely that is not Vedic. Whereas in the Saraswati region, it was Vedic. And Saraswati region was occupied by Shatyakika. And in support of this, I will show you another figure from very vast from Bactria. See, Bactria is far north of Afghanistan. So there also there are a lot of figures we are seeing, and all of them don't have an mustache. Only the thing. So the same kind of lifestyle they have followed throughout the Sindhu region, and definitely they are not totally Vedic. Normally, in Mahabharata, you will know, if somebody has to be exiled or sent out of the country, they will be sent out to the west of Sindhu, to the west of Saraswati. So that they didn't consider it as the Aryavarta at all. That was a Mlechal land. It was in the Mlechal land. They lived in any other way they wanted. That is how it went on. And now coming to the Jayadratha factor. Why Jayadratha was a very important person in Mahabharata? Why he was able to thrive well. Even after his clan were able to thrive well after the Mahabharata war in the Harappan. The reason was his region, his area was the growing ground or the breeding place for horses. Normally in this Aryan invasion theory, people used to say, we have not known about horses. But when you read Mahabharata or even Ramayana, you'll be surprised. We have our indigenous regions where indigenously grown or indigenously bred horses were there. One region is here in this region, in the Himalayas. In Arjuna goes and then he brings some horses. Here also there are horses like Sindhu horses. They were very lean-bodied. They run very fast. So in Sindhu, in Gandhara, there were horses, all indigenous native breeds. And then in Valika also there were the Arata, there were local breeds. So this area was controlled by Jayadratha. So that is why nobody wanted to cross swords with him. Somehow they wanted to be in good terms with him because they need the horses. He was a supplier of the horses. And these horses, you know what has happened after the war was over, with Jayadratha clan not engaged in any warring activity because they stopped fighting. The Kshatriyahood was stopped. They switched over to Vaishyahood. And also there was a climatic change just before that I told you, because of the cosmic impact. There was a climatic change. Because of that, these horse breeding regions were shifted to Anatolia. I am showing here a research article on the genetics of the Anatolian horses. It says that article says the Anatolian horses, which until now the Aryan invasion theorists have been claiming to be the source of the horses of India, were actually not autochthonous or native to Anatolia. They came from somewhere outside. From where, they don't know. But all that they can say is large-scale introduction of domestic horses at the end of the 3rd millennium BCE, which tallies with our Mahabharata date. So from here, they should have gone, because afterwards, we didn't hear about many horses in this region. In Mahabharata, only a lot of references are there. So they should have just shifted. So what happened to the Sindhu region? The Sindhu descendants, the Saindavas, the descendants of Jayadratha clan, some of them, that is, who were already engaged in horse breeding, would have gone over to Anatolia. That is how one of the out of India migration, one part of it, I should say, that is part of one thing. Now I am showing you, I am just proving you that what I have told now, like how I linked this post-Mahabharata, post-Dwarka with the Harappan. Now here I am giving you the proof of it. This is one research article, a very famous one, with Chatterjee et al., I think. You have to see from bottom to top. The bottom, I am giving the legends here. See, this is I, this is Indus. I think you are able to follow the cursor. I is Indus, J is for Jhelum, C for Chenab, B for Bias, and then S for Sutlej, and SS is for Saraswati. The dotted ones were there once, that Saraswati. Now it is just, that is inferred former course of Saraswati. And now this is pre-Harappan, 9,000 to 5,800 years ago. That means 7,000 BCE to 3,800 BCE. Before 3,800 BCE, there are no locations here. You can see only few dots here in North India where some locations were there. These are all archaeological findings. Whatever archaeological these areas you see, this comes in early Harappan. Early Harappan, 2,800 to 3,300. That is where your Mahabharata period had taken place. 3136 BCE. I told you already, 3136 BCE is the date of Mahabharata, and that comes in the early Harappan period. And so after 3136 BCE, the Saraswati region, I'm told, not I told, it is told in Mahabharata, Arjuna settled the people in the Saraswati region. You can see maximum, these are all archaeologically found out places. Here all in all these dots, some archaeological excavations have happened. See, totally there is in this area of Saraswati, you can see in pre-Harappan, the early Harappan. And then again 2,600 to 2,800, that is when the Mohenjo-daro, that structures of Great Bath, all these were built, dated 2,800 BCE only. So that comes after your Mahabharata or Dwarka period only. And I can also say this Great Bath is an extension of, or is a replica of, what you find in Mayasabha. In Mayasabha, when Maya had established Indraprastha for the Pandavas, Pandavas called everybody to attend it. Then Kauravas also came, Duryodhana came, and then Duryodhana was walking inside the mansion. He thought that there was a pond inside. He couldn't understand that. He just fell down. Okay. And then in another place, there was no pond, but he thought there was a pond. See, first of all, you take the place where there was a pond. How can there be a pond inside the mansion? There should be an underground inlet for water. The source should have been somewhere outside. From there, the water source should have been connected from underground. The same method is there in the Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro. In Mohenjo-daro, there is no outlet. On the bottom, there is one hole that just goes very big. It just goes outside. They were wondering what will go off. But you think the other way. There is a connection. There are wells outside. But today we are not able to get any underground connection archaeologically. Maybe they are all damaged. So they are connected with a well from outside. So water comes through from the bottom and then it starts filling up. And Mohenjo-daro Great Bath is also an internal, that is interior pond only. Because the structures show that there was another floor above that. So it is interior. It is almost similar to your Mayasabha. The same thing you are finding in Dwarka. Suppose you are going to Dwarka. Before you enter the temple there, Krishna temple there, just outside you see there is one well. That well is connected underground with some other structures. You'll be seeing some mantaps are there. But there is an entrance to the mandap where you will see a lot of water inside. The water comes from the well from underneath. So this is known as Vapi culture. This Vapi culture throughout North India you can see. And that is introduced in Karnataka also. In one other book, that Ramanuja Itihasa, I have just given the connection, how the Yadavas have known this water, the hydrological harvesting of water. And then that is introduced, that Yadavas only have shifted to Mysore. So there also they have got that. So this Mohenjo-daro Great Bath, having the technology that was used by Maya in Mayasabha, that is in Indraprastha, we are very sure that people have come over there. And also the researchers are doing the whatever little that we are getting about, that is dead bodies that we are able to unearth in this Harappan region. They were not from the native people. It has been found out that they are laborers who have come from outside. Those who have come from outside and they have died, they have been buried there, that's all. Whereas our people have been cremated only, not buried. So people have come from outside to build the places. So why I'm saying this is, this Mohenjo-daro region was developed only in the early Harappan Kodiji phase. Whereas in the the Ravi phase, this Satyaki clan had gone over there and then settled. This is also one important evidence for the Mahabharata connection or the post-Dwarka connection to, or they were forming the early Harappan. I would even suggest this is not a Sindhu-Saraswati civilization. This is post-Mahabharata civilization. Particularly the Saraswati civilization, Saraswati region is post-Dwarka civilization. We can call it as post-Mahabharata. Okay, after that you have the mature Harappan. In the mature Harappan, you can see somehow in Jayadratha region, in Sindhu region, very less. You can see there is not much of growth in that region. It tallies with what I have told already. People have always maintained, the Indians have remained within India, with Saraswati forming their westernmost limit. They have not gone beyond that because the people were not Vedic. They were, there were a lot of loose habits were there. They didn't want to mingle with them. So there not much of development, whereas here only. But by the time of mature Harappan, they just spread or become less also. By the time of late Harappan, when there was a decline, that is from 1300 to 1700 BCE, almost completely shifted to east. All the archaeological regions are dated only in this late Harappan, and this has become less, only a few here. So this shows how the Dwarka, particularly the Satyaki clan, settling there, and then further moving towards their own, the ancestral region. Ancestral region was Gangetic, Mathura, Yamuna, Gangetic region only. From there they came here. Once again, by the time of 1300 to 700 BCE, that is when Kutch, Bed Dwarka came up. So that is when there was a sea level rise at that time. That is when the second Sangam age, that is Kavadapuram, was also lost in Tamil Nadu. And from here also people, that is from South Tamil, that is from Indian Ocean region, people shifted. In Sangam literature, there is evidence for it. They shifted to mainland. At that time, this Kutch region also have come up. So that 1500 BC is a cutoff date. There you have the Dwarka showing evidence. So that shows after the decline or at the decline of Harappan civilization, the people who have spread to different places, some of them have chosen Dwarka, thinking of this Dwarakadish. Dwarakadish temple would have come up only there, the present Dwarakadish. Because the old memory, all the time we want to keep a old memory. But actually the oldest memory was in Somnath. In Somnath, can you see there is an arrow mark showing towards the sea, saying that there is no land. That was because earlier Manu entered through that area. So there Saraswati was joining the sea. So in Saraswati, in the reverse direction, Manu was pushed. Earlier, Manu was there in the western part of there is a peninsular coastal region, west of peninsular coastal region. He was pushed into Saraswati in the first flood after the Ice Age. That is why that first Jyotirlinga was there in Prabhash, and then that Aramak also must have been established right from the time, maybe orally, maybe by tradition, and maybe in later days they would have established that Aramak itself. So that is very, very important for that ancient Indic community. So there only they wanted Dwaraka. That is Dwarka. Dwaraka also means entrance. That is why Krishna wanted it there, but they couldn't. That area is not, prone for habitation. So by the time of this Harappan decline, some of them have gone to or set up Dwarakadish, and then in memory of Krishna's Dwarka in the sea, they identified. Why they identified Dwarakadish? The reason could be this: they have seen an island of that place. So that island was Krishna's Dwarka, and let us have a temple here. That is how it should have come. And then Satyakis, some of them, the Satyakis went everybody, and Satyakis have come to Tamil Nadu also. Why I am saying is, this is Triplicate Parthasarathi temple in Triplicate in Chennai. And here Venkatakrishnan, this is Krishna, Krishna's wife Rukmani, Krishna's brother Balrama. But who are these three? One of them is Satyaki, one is Krishna's son Pradyumna, another is Krishna's grandson Aniruddha. Why Satyaki is here? In India, as far as I know, throughout India, only in Triplicate, Satyaki is there inside the Garbhagraha, only in this temple. Why Satyaki is given so much of importance? Unless the people who have built this temple, set up this temple, were the descendants of Satyaki, in memory of his the old Mahabharata or the Satyaki they have established. And look at the Utsava Murti, that is Parthasarathi. This Parthasarathi, there are a lot of legends about his face, why it is totally poke. Lot of stories they will say. But Stalapurana says, this Parthasarathi Murti was worshipped by none other than Vyasa. So this idol has been there right from or before Vyasa's time. Vyasa has worshipped this idol. And then after Vyasa's time, that come to the control of the Satyaki clan. So they have worshipped. Now you will know how important, how precious it is. So when they were dislocated from there due to climatic conditions, they didn't want to go back to Jarasandhas, the olden Yamuna or Gangetic day. They came to South India. And then they found a place like Narasimha temple. Originally, Triplicane was a Narasimha temple, Trilliyasinga. He was facing on one side. Behind him, this deity was just kept. Initially, it would have just, they would have had a hat. And later on only they started building. And all Pallavas, they only patronized this temple. You know why? The first Pallava was born to Ashwatthama. The Pallavas themselves have written in their Velur Palayam inscriptions, in many other inscriptions, when they are giving the lineage, they are giving this so and so. And then Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama, he was driven to the forest. When he was in the forest, he didn't die after the war. When he was in the forest, he married an Apsara. See the Apsara girl once again, because in those days, this Apsara, one lady. And then the child was born, and the child was shown to him when it was so shown to him. The child was put on a bed of twigs. Twig means Palava. And then on seeing the child on the bed of twigs, he said Palava. That is how the first name Palava came up. They have written in their inscriptions. So they were in the place called Paishashi. They were known as ghost, because nobody liked Ashwatthama, hated like anything. Just imagine how the descendants would have felt. They were in Panchala, the connection between Ashwatthama, that is Dronacharya, and this Drupada, and then how the country went to Dronacharya then. So the Paishashapura was there in Panchala. Paishashi. Even Tamil was known as Paishashi by Vararuchi. If you are going into those details, you'll be very stunned, shocked, and then they will know how the linguistic connection was there. Part of most Tamil was understood by many people. Tamil was half Sanskrit in those days. Even now, in Tamil literature, it says Tamil has Sanskrit as part of it. That is what Tolkappiyam says. And people are just trying to suppress it and then not making it known to other people. So what happens? This Ashwatthama's clan were there for a very long time. But by the turn of the common era, some of them managed or tried to come out, show themselves up. That is, they kept their Kshatriyahood, everything. And then as Kshatriyas, they were there, and then they started occupying in the Telugu region, and then they came to Tamil Nadu region. So by the time they came here, lot of old memories were gone. That hatred was gone almost, but wherever they went, they worshipped Vishnu. Wherever they went, they dig up wells, ponds, as though, you're giving tarpan water. Giving water is very good, for their departed ancestors. So many people died because of the anger of Ashwatthama, as if to appease, as if to propitiate for it. The Pallavas were doing that. And one such, they patronized this temple of Krishna also. Now, for further evidence of what happened to, or just these Dwarka people, or these Mahabharata people, they only were part of our further culture. That is a continuity, I should say, to show the continuity. Here I am showing the emblems of the people of Mahabharata. Mostly every one of them had an animal emblem, animal totem, we can say. You will be finding, only the losers' emblems are found in the Harappan. Jayadrada's Varaha, Kripacharya, he was on the side of Kauravas, but later on when Pandavas got the kingdom, they had with him. That is, they didn't have any animosity towards him. His was a bull. And Kripacharya's nephew was Ashwatthama. Kripacharya's nephew. And but bull sign is an emblem of Pallavas. Pallavas had bull sign. So it shows they didn't want to take up the sign. Actually, Ashwatthama had some bull tail, lion tail, I think. Lion's tail as his emblem. They didn't want to show their allegiance with Ashwatthama initially, probably. So they started embracing the bull sign. And this bull sign had gone out of India to Mesopotamia and other places. So the Ashwatthama clan or the Kripacharya clan or those connected with Ashwatthama, they came to South India, and also they went out of India. So bull sign, wherever it is there, you can see, even though it is Kripacharya's, it was used by the descendants of Ashwatthama. Then elephant, Shalva. Shalva is the number one enemy of Krishna. He occupied an area in Karachi. Actually, that was the area initially, Satyameva Savitri. 7,000 years ago, even before Ramayana, Satyameva Savitri existed. They were there in Shalva region only. And there is a Kulli culture. More than 7,000-year-old archaeological findings are found out in that region of Karachi, Balochistan, all that. And then elephant, his was elephant. And Duryodhana was elephant goad. But I included him also because, like how the Kripacharya's descendants, like Ashwatthama's descendants, have embraced bull, probably Duryodhana's descendants, somebody would have been their connection, friends or relatives, distant relatives. Lot of wives they had, wherever they went, they had, because that's a Kshatriya habit to propagate. So they had lot of families in many places. They would have embraced elephant, not elephant goad. Only this is number one maximum, second maximum, third maximum. Only these are there. Now looking at the winners, Bhima's lion emblem is not found. Vanara emblem not found. Nakula's Sharaba, I will come to that again. Sharaba, it's a mythical, I'll come to that. Sahadeva's swan is there. A few have been found out in Harappan symbols. So it's possible that Sahadeva's descendants were doing some trade and they used swan. Peacock not there, vulture not there, Makara is there. One or two Makara symbols were got. So Pradyumna's descendants also would have been engaged in trade activities for which they have used this symbol. And coming to elephant, like Bhoja, I want to talk special mention about Bhoja, Krishna's relative. He appears in two places. One place is when Krishna tells Yudhishthira that they want to leave Mathura and go to set up a new place in Dwarka because of Jarasandha. In that context, Krishna is telling, many of my relatives have already fled by fear of Jarasandha. For example, he says so and so, so and so, so and so, and one person is Bhoja. Bhoja also had gone to the west, and you know that Bhoja, he has established his Vidvat power in Pandya court. Where does Pandya come there? Pandyas are there in Tamil Nadu. Vidvat is Vidya Balam. He has shown his Vidya Balam in Pandya court, means Pandyas were known for the assemblies of Tamil Sangam, where the poets used to publish their poems. So this Bhoja must have must have published his poem there. In corroboration with this, we get an evidence in Nakirar. Nakirar is a Tamil poet. His book, Irenar Kalaviyal Urai, is there. There he is also writing. In the second, he only gives all the details about all the Sangams, when it happened, how long it happened for each Sangam. So in that context, he said, during the second Sangam, Dwarka, the Dwarikoman, the knight or the leader of Dwaraka, he came, he attended the second Sangam. He says that. So during the second Sangam period, that the second Sangam period and Mahabharata period are in the same period only. So Bhoja had shown his Vidyabalam in Pandyan court, means Bhoja had published some book in Tamil, and Krishna had accompanied him on that visit to Tamil Nadu in Pandyan country. Probably during that time he married Nappinai. You'll be knowing he married a woman from Tamil Nadu, from Ayar, that is cattle breeder community. And he gave birth to, that is, they had a child also known as Pandya. She was married to a Pandyan king. And the evidence of it comes in Silapadigaram, where that Madari, that lady, the cattle breeder, she is also, for us, we have a tradition of supplying milk to the Pandyan palace, one family each day. For 360 days we are giving. Today is my turn, she says. From where this tradition had come up. So Krishna had settled the people of his clan from Mathura or from Dwaraka in the Pandya country to serve his daughter, born to Napina. So that has been going on until 2000 years ago. This is mentioned in Silapadikaram. So this shows, after Silapadikaram, we don't know what happened, but their lineages, I used to wonder whether it's Vandayar. There is one family of people, family name, surname Vandayar in Tamil Nadu. Vandayar family is actually in one Rajinikanth film, there is one Vandayar. He will come with that name, with that surname. Very powerful and landlord community. Probably that Vandayar came from Pandya. That name was Pandya, his daughter's name. So coming back to this, so the Bojas have come, that interaction has been there. This is what I'm saying. The Boja's emblem is elephant. Today also we have got it in Sialkot, which is now in Pakistan. Earlier it was known as Sakala, and it was also known as Shrugna. When I was doing this research for Adi Shankara's dating, I came across this information. This is a golden elephant, and this was taken up by what I'm doing is, okay, that was there in Mahabharata period. Later on, did anyone have the same emblem? Yes, the Shunga dynasty. The Shunga dynasty has elephant. The first Shunga was Pushyamitra Shunga. Pushya means, actually, why he's a Pushya Mitra? Mitra is friend. He's a Mitra of Pushya. What is Pushya? Pushya is the name of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga was originally known as Pushya Yuga. It was mentioned so in Mahabharata. So when Kali Yuga was coming, really things are going to be bad. But even then, there were kings who made it good. So he is saying, I am a Pushya Mitra. And how he did that? He stopped. He brought an end to the Maurya dynasty. The Maurya dynasty, which came into being because of Chanakya, it just went into Buddhism. It started supporting Buddhism by replacing the Vedic culture. So he revived Vedic. Somebody wanted at that time, you can imagine, around 200 BCE, when Buddhism was at its peak, when the dynasties, Maurya dynasty was supporting, that is Buddhism, that is when Buddhism was an official religion of the country, there were people, they were just waiting for some renaissance from coming back to Vedic religion. That was then this Pushyamitra Shunga. He came from Shakala. His region was in Sialkot, where we are finding the archaeological, this is from archaeological finding only. The Bojas were there. So the Shunga dynasty must have been the later day period people of the Bojas of Krishna's clan, because they have the same elephant. And what he did, Pushyamitra Shunga, he was only a soldier, a commander-in-chief, I can say, not an ordinary soldier. He killed the king, as though he was doing some war activity he wanted to show. At that time, he killed the ninth king. He is Brihadrata. He was the ninth king in the lineage of the Mauryas. He killed and then he brought Shunga dynasty. So only at that time, Patanjali came up. Ashwamedha Yajna was done. Even after this only, Adi Shankara also came. They all worked for the renewal of the Vedic culture. So Shunga would have been the later day period or the descendants of Bhojas of Krishna. Then I told about Nakula. Then I'll tell later. Now I am coming to Nakula. Nakula's emblem is Sharaba. Sharaba is the twin-headed animal with a wing. The same thing is found in Mesopotamia. It is supposed to be the eagle of Nindruta, a deity there. There are several places. I am showing only 3 places here. This is Albania's emblem, almost similar. And this is Hatti. You would have heard about this place. Hatti is the very popular. There is an inscription also, which Witzel used to quote for Aryan, in support of Aryan invasion theory. Even the Hittite have this kind of emblem. But do you know, the same emblem is there in India, used by the Mysore kingdom, known as Gandaberunda. All Karnataka people will be able to understand this, will be able to identify this. You look at the similarity. This was the emblem of Mysore. Now, the emblem of Karnataka government. Karnataka government, present day, this is the emblem of Karnataka also. How could this come to Tamil Nadu, the Karnataka, South India, if it was almost also there in Mesopotamia? This did not come from Mesopotamia, definitely. We didn't have any, Mysore Raja didn't have any connection with Mesopotamia. And Mysore Rajas were very staunch Vedic people. And how could they have copied something from Mesopotamia? Not possible. But here we are seeing the Saraba, which is the emblem of, this is just illustration, no one have seen, or we are not able to get the exact emblem of Nakula. It is only told, the description is given, that's all. So far, we have not got any archaeological figurine or emblem or something like that. So it's only reconstructed one. But people used to say, like Sharabas only, Nakulas only, they have adopted. Probably the Mysore Rajas had some connection with Nakula. And the Nakula's descendants or relatives or somebody in later day had some connection with Mesopotamia, or they have gone over there, or some kind of exchange had happened. Now, not only that, now another one I want, the descendants, we are talking about descendants means Varaha, a lot of descendants are there. Varaha is Jayadrada's emblem. See that Varaha continues to be there in India, Vijayanagar, Varaha symbol. This is the Mohenjo-daro. In Mohenjo-daro, we have got a silver coin with it is a punch marked. Like they'll make a lot of emblems of the same size or shape. See, this is the Varaha emblem in silver, got from Mohenjo-daro. This is Badami Chalukyas. So Vijayanagara's, their money is known as Varaha. They called their gold coin as Varaha coin only. Why should they? Unless they have the authority to use it, they cannot use it because it is somebody else. So they are able to use it means they have some filial connection, family connection, or some connection, or some that connection with Jayadrada. Not only that, Gurjara Pratiharas, the Kadambas, Chalukyas, Vijayanagaras, they all have Varaha symbol. That is until 1500s, 1500 CE, we had all these kingdoms, So that had been continuing. Mahabharata connection or Jayadrada connection has been continuing throughout India, we must say. And almost coming to the end part of it, 2 migrations have happened. One from Dwarka to North India. That is the first one. When Krishna was there, he migrated to Dwarka. So from Dwarka to North India, what happened? Dwarka migration to North India after the death of Krishna, it coincides with early Harappan, I already told. And then Indus, say the Satyaki and all that, same thing. And then Vajra, what happened? Krishna's the only survivor in Krishna's family, a male survivor, an adult, was the great-grandson. That is Aniruddha's son. He was known as Vajra. So in Mahabharata itself, it is being told, when Arjuna was settling people, he settled Vajra in Indraprastha. Indraprastha was originally owned by the Pandavas. There he settled Vajra. Whereas the Pandavas shifted to Hastinapura after the Mahabharata war. So Vajra became the king there. And then there is another migration. After the decline of the Harappan, that is around 1500 BCE, when you are getting this Dwarka excavation match with the date, at that time, there is something called Velir migration. Velir is a group of people. The people are known as Vel or Velir. In North India also, they exist as Bale. The Bales were regarded as degraded classes by the British people, written in their census also. The presence of Bales are there in Afghanistan also during the British period, whereas majority of the Velir have shifted to South India after that is the decline of IBC. This date is supported by Tamil Sangam period, because in Tamil Sangam Purananuru there is one verse on Irungovel by poet Kapilar saying that 49 centuries ago, your ancestors were there in North India. You all have come in that lineage. And this person was in Mysore. Irungovel was in Mysore. And then the date of Dwarka, S.R. Rao, coincides with that only. And then 18 Yadavas, what happens in the Mahabharata, Krishna says that he had 18 groups of Yadavas with him who wanted to shift. Actually, in Tamil Nadu, the Velir migration, the migrated people, it consisted of 18 Yadava kings related to Krishna. It is written so. It exists in Tamil literature. Nachinarkiniyar, that is a commentator who lived 1000 years ago, while writing the commentary for Tolkapiyam, because Tolkappiyam, the current day Tolkappiyam grammar book, was written at a time of this decline of IVC to give place for the migrant people also. A place was created called Mullai, where they were all settled. That is why that it's this Krishna consciousness, the Krishna bhakti was so high in Tamil Nadu because the direct descendants have settled in Tamil Nadu. And then there are 18 Velir clan, all groups of artisans. I would say there are 18 groups of backward classes classified by Justice Party and the Dravidian parties in the 1930s or 40s, saying they were all degraded, they were not, they were all suffering, all that. They all must have come from this Velir clan only. They all had, each one of them had their own expertise in some field. And they were not accepted by the locals. The problem is that because in Tulkapiyam itself it is told, even though the Yadava kings from Krishna clan were there, they were known as Velir king. The Shoera Chola Pandya kings, they may take the girl for marriage from their families, but they will not give their girl in marriage with a Velir boy. So that dichotomy they were existed. That is there in the Tolkappiyam itself. That is there in the Sangam poems that we are able to see. And then the last such king was Parivallal. You would have heard about him. They were very jealous of these Yadava kings. For us today, we say, Krishna, Yadava, Krishna's relatives. But in those days, that the cutthroat competition, and also it's my territory. What you have got to do. So you have come from outside. You are a second-class citizen. That continued somehow. That is why this 18 Velir clan artisans, they might have been treated as second-class citizens once the Velir kings were gone. Until 2000 years ago, the Velirs had their own land, kings were there. But by 2000 years ago, all the Velir kings, they were all killed. So the people who in that area, naturally, they had that existence where they have to be subsidiary to the other people. That is there. Then Aruvala, the Aruvalas have occupied in places from Kadapa to Kanchi, that was known as Dravida land. That is where they settled. Now, further evidence I am giving here. Here I told Vajra was the name of the great-grandson of Krishna. In Tamil Nadu, Kiradi, Purundal, Kodumanal, Kodumanam, so many places are being excavated where you are finding the evidence of pottery and other things, evidence that people were there around 600 BCE or even 700 BCE, all that. Tamil people are thinking that is the Dravidian government thinks, it's something exclusive for that. But actually they were all these migrants. Because pottery, they brought pottery. Main thing is that in one of the pot sheds found in Purundal, the name Vajra is found. Vajra is not a Tamil name. Vajra means diamond. In Tamil, Tamilized Vajra is Vairavan. Like it's written in Brahmi. And another misconception is this Brahmi, this known as Tamili, they call it as Tamili, as though that was used for writing Tamil. No, Tamil had its own lipi. This Brahmi was introduced by the Indus people of the Harappan region. These Jains only introduced. Wherever they went, they used the same lipis to write the language of the place. For example, in Telugu, they write, that is in Andhra, they wrote Telugu in Brahmi. And Tamil Nadu, they wrote Tamil in Brahmi. I have a lot of, it's by itself a different topic if I start talking about it. So this Brahmi, this Vajra itself is proof of the migration of people from Dwarka region. Vajra is not our name at all. Then another evidence I'm giving is, there is one Sangam text called Sirbana Tripade. The king called Nalliya Kodan is being praised in that. Koda, Koda is a surname in North India and Chhattisgarh in other places. Is a Nalliya Kodan. Nalliyal means is a good one. The main name is Koda only. But with a prefix, it's Nalliya Kodan. So the Koda is there. In this song, there is a mention about the cooking book written by Bhima. We know that Bhima cooks well. And we have just heard that he had written a book also. But this particular text says there was a book on cooking by Bhima, and using the recipes the king's servants have made the dishes. It is mentioned there. And this particular king was supposed to be belonging to a Vamsha, a lineage called Vovi. Vovi is from Vovi only Ovium came. Ovium is a Tamil word for painting. You know why I am saying that Vovi once again appears 1,000 years ago. See, this Sangam text was written any time before 2,000 years. Whereas this last line, you see, Vovi artisans inscribed copper plates of Thiruvalangadu. Thiruvalangadu copper plates were made during the time of Rajendra Chola, that is Rajaraja Chola's son. There, the inscribers, they have given their signature at the end. 4 of them, 4 brothers, some Damodara, and then some all Vishnu names only, or Krishna's names only. They say they belong to Vovi Vamsha. So the Vovi Vamsha, the people from Vovi Vamsha were inscribers in copper. And a person of Vovi Vamsha was also a king. Don't you find it strange? But at the same time, when you know that these people have come from North India, like this the migration, now you get the point. So the Vovi Vamsha, that Naliyakodan would have been a relative of Krishna, so he was a king. And among the 18 clan, artisan clan, this copper plating, the copper inscribing, that is one art. Some from the same Vovi Vamsha, the artisans have been there and they have inscribed their name. So the problem is nobody, I don't know why people are not recognizing it. Anyone who goes through epigraphy, some little bit, and also these Porundal and other copper sheds, they can see the connection. When you see the connection and you connect it with that, you know, okay, they were all of the same clan that have migrated from Dwarka or in post-Harappan. But I should say, I am the only person talking about it. At least let people just go through these details. I don't ask you to get convinced, or I don't want to convince you. I am showing you what all is available. It's up to you to search further, any viewer here, and then get convinced or improvise on it or reject it. If you're rejecting it, you just give me the reason. I will argue about it. Now, further, this is almost last part we are coming. I have taken much time. This is a further evidence of migration, I tell you. You know, Ellora, right from North India, like Maharashtra onwards, that is gradually. I tell you, this migration doesn't happen in one day. So the climatic conditions are not good. People are not finding the place to be habitable. So they want to shift. One group shifts, another group shifts this side. So gradually only they will be shifting over a period of few centuries. So wherever on their way they find a good place, they settle down. Then another group moves forward. So Ellora could have been a Velir migration place because in inscriptions it is known as Velur, not Lur, not Vellur or La. It's La, Velur, Veluragam. It is known as Veluragam or Velur in inscriptions. Now only you are calling it as Ellora. Sholapur is given as Velapur in inscriptions. There is a Velapuram in Ahmednagar. There is a Velagam in Pune. Belgaum is known as Velgrama in inscriptions. Belhuti is known as Velpatti. And then Belur Halibid, it is given as Velur in older inscriptions. And then I already told 18 kings from the lineage of Krishna, 18 sections of the Velir people and Aruvaldars. They have migrated to all the 3 places, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka. Particularly, most of Karnataka people, Kannadigas, they are the descendants of Dwarka people only. You can just make out the genetic studies is welcome upon that, because this Yadavas and then when you are coming across the epigraphic, even King Vishnuvardha Hoysalas have written in their inscriptions that the first Hosala he was known as, he was a Yadava. He came from Krishna's clan. And another reason also I tell you, in Harivamsha itself, from Yadu's clan only, this Krishna and others were born. In Yadu's clan, there are 5 sons were born. This is not Jayate, this is something else. This is Yadu. who occupied Anartha. Anartha was the earlier name of Gujarat in those days. And the progenitor was from Ikshwaku dynasty. In the Ikshwaku dynasty, the first son only will rule Ayodhya. The other siblings have to go to other places to set up their kingdoms. So there was one Haryashva, who was not the first son, but who was a sibling, who moved to this Anartha country. And then he got married to somebody there, and they had a very valiant son called Yadu. Yadu had 5 sons. Of them, only one son settled in Anartha itself. Other 4 sons migrated to different parts of Tamil Nadu. One was to Puri, and another was in Karnataka, somewhere. Another one in Tamil Nadu, Pumbuhar region. So like this, they spread. Just imagine, this was very long ago, even before Mathura was created. At that time, Mathura was not created. That means before Rama's time, because Mathura was destroyed by Shatrughna. So that means before Rama's time, this people have spread, means what they would have spoken, what language. There should have been a common language. That whatever language they have spoken, they have taken to everybody, everywhere. So people were able to converse. Some common linguistic feature was there, you can say. So already they were there in South India. Probably that was the reason for these people to choose South India when things were not fine in the Harappan region. You may ask, why should they come all the way to Tamil Nadu? Why not to Ganga? Because now Jarasandha is no longer there. They could have gone over to Ganga and other regions, but they chose Tamil Nadu. Probably because in the very long past, they had their roots here. So still they continued to have roots. But today we have forgotten all the roots. That is, with that, we are coming to the end of the session. And any questions, doubts, we can ask.
And the people who are there, who would like to ask questions, can raise their hand and come up. The hand raising is open. So, Vidyaji, do you have any questions to start with?
I wanted to ask about the Paishachi language, but ma'am, I think you covered that while you were describing how that connects, all the languages, especially showing Tamil as a base language for the whole of India. So if you could, just specifically mention that, because people here in Tamil Nadu, they try to segregate it totally. So when they realize, especially all over, people all over, when they realize this connecting, it's such a magnificent link, so
yes,
for a unifying factor. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
a little
the very way that is, we have to ask questions. Then only you get answers. The question is, why did the Malir choose Tamil Nadu? Why not their ancestral regions in Mathura or somewhere there? And because once they come here, there would have been some language problems. How they managed, why they found the South India, like Karnataka and these places, and the Chera Chola only is the Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Why they found this region to be so congenial for their existence. So it's not that the kings were very helpful, because the kings, see the very fact that the kings refused to take or have matrimonial relations both ways. Only one way they wanted to have, not both ways, means how demeaning it is. Any self-respecting person cannot accept it. And they didn't accept them at all the time fighting with them. So in spite of, so we can't say there was a politically congenial climate, but there should have been another something else. Probably Krishna connection. People were so, because they were already exposed to Krishna. Like Krishna was the son-in-law of Tamil Nadu by having married Napina, isn't it? So that connection, and also some linguistically, culturally, there was some kind of meeting point. That is why they have chosen. So that is the first question. And the second one was that I have already, in my Ramayana book only it will be coming, which I don't want to discuss here anyway. But one point I want to tell you, when the British people came, they initially started the linguistic study only. After linguistic only, they came to this Aryan invasion theory, because they saw the linguistic similarities between Latin and Sanskrit. But before that, they found that within India, the different language groups, they had a similarity. And they found that there is something called Apabhramsha, which was the underlying one in all the languages, and that somehow resembled. They didn't say that, but it resembled Tamil. That is what I am saying. Because why I'm saying, why that is up to Upper Brahmsha they brought. But after that, they didn't take beyond that. No further research had happened, either by the foreigners or by the Indians. So by then, the Indian independence, Aryan invasion theory had taken place. By then, the Indo-European language family idea had taken place, which is not true. And then by then, when the Indian independence have taken place, this linguistic division of the country had completely spoiled the scope for any analysis, more analysis on the commonality of the language in the past. So that we should be aware of it. At least someday that awareness should set in. At least we have, if not among the people, we should have some chairs or departments in major universities where this kind of analysis should begin. Then we will know. See, what is given in the Itihasa, mainly in Itihasa it is given. In Harivamsha it is given. From Harivamsha only we know this, that is this spreading of the Yadu clan in South India. So that can be taken further, and then in linguistic similarities can be analyzed. Simple example I'll tell you. Tamil we say takkar. There is a word called takkar. A takkar for a temple, who takes care? The takkar is one, a tagudiyanavar. That is the one who is eligible, who is qualified to administer, is known as takkar. The same word is there in North India for taku. Taku. West Bengal, tagu. And then there may be many other also. So lot of phonetic similarity for the same kind of post. So as far as pronouns are, the nouns are concerned, not pronouns, nouns, as far as nouns are concerned, you can see a lot of linguistic similarity between different languages in India. Grammatically, things vary from language to language. That might have developed over time. But this language similar, that is the noun similarity, is something strange, I should say. And Tamil also has this version called corrupt Tamil. Kodun Tamil, they call it. That is, they say what is given in the Sangam text is grammatical Tamil. What we talk normally in Tamil Nadu, it's just average Tamil. And then there is a corrupt Tamil, which is because of the loan words. There is one section also in Tolkappiyam on loan words. Then Sanskrit words. Sanskrit is not a loan word. A loan word is something you borrow from another language that is got from this migrant population, so many, it will say. For example, we say kuttai, or even that is not a Tamil word, it's a loan word. Lot of words, Nachinarkinir, that is a commentator, has given, from which area these loan words have come. But Sanskrit is not a loan word. It says Sanskrit is part of Tamil. Nearly 1/4 of Tamil is Sanskrit only. That is why the commonality of Tamil and Sanskrit already there. I have sent one book to you on the first Vedic Homa, which you also mentioned. It's just a small book only. You please go through it. I have given the evidence, literary evidence for, yes, this book. Literary evidence for why these two have been developed from a pre-existing proto-language. That is the concept. There was a pre-existing proto-language of all the Tamils, all the Indians. Initially, India was not populated, I tell you, during the Ice Age. Only the coastal plains were habitable. In the coastal plains, on the western side, Manu was there. In the southern side, in Tiruchendur region, it was habitable. Because in this book also I have shown, more than 20,000 years, they have grown. There is domestic rice. Domestic rice means you grow consciously. It's not a wild rice. They have grown domestic rice in this region, in the Tiruchendur region. So that means people have lived there. There was an extension also. 2,000 years ago, there were islands in between Sri Lanka and Southeast India. So the domestic, there is a habitable area where so you can know, they will have that interaction anyway. That those who interacted once, 10,000 years ago, they spread gradually throughout India. So in course of time, the languages, that each one started having his own or her own dialect. That's how that language thing happened. Changed.
Very clear, madam. Very clear. The other question, actually, a fascinating one was about the Mlechas. And you're mentioning about, they don't have any mustache, but only the beards. which actually I feel which must be before the Islamic period on that region.
Yes.
And the same rituals or the styles and everything have been followed later on in the Islamic period also. Do you think so? I felt like that.
It starts from Sagara's period, before Ramayana, before Rama's period. Because in Ramayana itself, the reference comes, there was an ancestor called Sagara for Rama. During his period, these Talajangas and then some other people, I don't remember the other one, Heyhayas and Talajangas, they occupied or they snatched Ayodhya from Ikshvakus. So Sagara's father was killed. At that time, Sagara was just a baby. He was his mother was pregnant of him, and then after his birth, the sage helped him to become a very good soldier, and then snatch the country from him. At that time, he wanted to exterminate all those enemies, but Vasishta stopped him, saying that you leave them out, you send them out of the country, but after making some marks, like some of them should not have the mustache at all. Some of them should grow only beard. Some of them should have a bald head. Some of them should just shave one half of the head. These are all mentioned in Vishnu Purana and even in Ramayana also. So they were all sent out of the country. That is to the Afghanistan. Afghanistan region was just a desert at that time. There was Iran, Iraq, I should say. That is where they have gone. The same information is written by Abul Fazl in his book 1,000 years ago, that our ancestors were made to be so by Sagara, it is written. So they maintained that. So here also, those who were sent, these people would have been, the priest king would have been one of those who were sent. They were known as Shakas. Nowadays, people are just confused. There was a place called Shakistan in Iran, present-day Iran. And the one reason, after seeing the Iranians, I used to think they are very tall, just physically they are very handsome, very good. Color and then hair color, body strength, everything is so good that Vasishta felt this is a nature's creation, their body. So you have no right to completely exterminate them, allow them to live. So they have been left out. That is, the Iranians are nowadays, they are realizing it. Zoroastrianism was not their original thing. They were following Hindu thoughts only for a long time. Then Buddhism, Abul Fazl has written that. Then Buddhism, up to Turkey, Buddhism was there. And then when Zoroastrianism came, they replaced. And then when Islam came, everything was gone. Now they want to go back to that. That is why in all the genetic analysis, people start from Iran and Iraq only. Only from there, Indians, they say. No, from India they moved, and from there they got. In the book that I have given to Vidya ji, that is the Vedic Homa, there also I have written about the Skythias. They were known as Skythias. In our culture, we call them as Shakas. So that those people, this priest king was previously that is sent out of the country person. That's why he is so, not a Vedic one.
Absolutely.
Krishna do.
With that, actually, we will wind up here. The session has actually gone way beyond actually what we do, but it has been fascinating. It's been fascinating information, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it. Madam, actually, did you enjoy the session?
Pardon?
Did you enjoy the session?
Yes, definitely. You have to control me. If you give me a mic, I'll keep on talking. And I'm not able to see the time also in my laptop. So I really enjoyed it because this topic is so dear to me. And you would have known at one place I became very emotional.
Yes.
So it's an emotional topic for me also. I do it with all that kind of putting my heart into that, not only mind. So I like it. I like the session.
And the questions also.
I'm very grateful to you for giving this opportunity. And I look forward to many more such opportunities. A lot of things I have like this. I'm very happy. I'm very glad for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
I was about to mention, you may need to come more often.
Yes, I'll do. Actually, I have spoken about it in Spaces program, in some spaces. I have not got a chance. I openly say I have not got a chance to reach out to larger audience. Some of my readers also have just felt bad about it. Like you should have gone to, you should reach. But Well, it's not in my hand, and I am not a person going and asking, begging for chances. If God willing, I'll get it. If the chance has not yet come, means maybe Krishna wants to wait for some time for the information to reach people. That's what I think.
Yes. Everything has its own plan.
Yeah, not in our hands.
Exactly. Thank you very much for being with us, Jayasree Madam. It's been a wonderful session. It's been wonderful to interact with you also. So much information, and we will look forward to more session with different topics. And I noted actually a few when Vidyaji was mentioning the books. Vidyaji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for having taken a very long time.
And please
No
don't
Thanks for the
apologize. Please
patience.
don't apologize. It is such an honor listening to you. We are very, very grateful. We didn't even realize, like, I mentioned earlier, we didn't realize time flying. So it's like Bhagwan wanted us to listen to this, enthralling session. So please don't apologize. I just wanted to add one more thing. For people who are interested to buy Jayasree ma'am's books, we'll be attaching the link. You can send her an email and you will be getting the books from her directly. That is for the hard copy. So we will be attaching all the links of all the books.
All the links will be there in the YouTube when we upload it.
In the YouTube.
Yeah, you have given a very good introduction about my books also.
That's
for that also, a very big thanks.
No problem.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.